Welcome to our podcast where we tell stories that'll keep you up at night. And in the morning, have you asking,
What's sleep?
I'm your co-host, Timothy.
And I'm the other host, Bailey.
And let's talk about some spooky stories. Cool. All right. So first things first, got some cool news.
Some crime news. Some big crime world news, guys.
I'm sure if y'all are into, the true crime scene like we are, you definitely heard of this by now.
Even if not, the
And even if
Zodiac
not,
Killer,
probably. But after 51 years of people attempting to crack the 340 cipher, some amateur team of people finally solved it after 51 years.
Yep.
So that's pretty awesome.
The 340 code, if you'll remember, is one of the codes that the Zodiac Killer wrote.
And the reason why it's called the 340 cipher is because it's exactly 340 characters long.
Yes. So that's super freaking cool.
Yeah. And we actually have the solution here. And it's a little creepy.
I think it's really dumb.
It is a little dumb, but it's the Zodiac. It's his thing.
This guy.
It's his thing. But it is decoded as saying, I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show, which brings up a point about me. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. So they are afraid of death. I am not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise, death. It's a little weird there at the end.
Oh, no, he wrote this either to confuse people, which obviously the cipher itself was really hard, but his grammar is just not, that's word for word exactly what was written in the cipher.
Yeah.
And his whole attitude towards his own death, he's like, I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise. Yeah, okay. You know he's the type of guy to walk down the long hallway, death row.
Oh, yeah.
Screaming and kicking the whole way about how he's the best, how it took them years and blah. He's that kind of guy.
I mean, maybe.
Please don't kill me. That's how I imagine him anyway. But, that's super,
hey, wouldn't it be cool if this would
have
eventually lead to him getting captured soon?
2020's
been a weird year.
DNA is only going to get better. It's only going to get more precise. For the cipher, wasn't it? There was a algorithm or something written just for this. So, technology's getting better.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows? One day we might have technology to just, which would be horrifying, but peer into somebody's mind that has either passed away, still living, familial. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That'd be cool, but it'd also be horrifying. Please don't look into my brain.
So, according to this article written by the San Francisco Chronicle, it says in most ciphers like the 408 cipher, the solution consists mainly of figuring out which letters are represented by certain symbols. Mm-hmm. But in the 340 cipher, it turned out that the alignment of the words runs diagonally down the page.
Oh, does it really?
And occasionally they get shifted over a column.
Why do you have to make it so hard?
But here's the thing. Remember how when we were going over, certain suspects or whatever, there was the two books talking about that were stolen, talking about military codes type of thing. Turns out that it's a complicated bit of code creation, but a basic scheme for it can be found in at least one U.S. Army code manual from the 1950s.
Did we go over anybody that might have checked out?
I think one of the people kind of investigating it was trying to track down the books because they were getting checked out or whatever. Right. But there was a library where the books were stolen. Can't remember exactly who did it.
I was gonna say there was something. Yeah, I can remember exactly what happened to them, but it was untraceable what happened to the books or something.
Yeah, because they just never came back.
Yeah,
and, type of thing. So this one library had those books stolen out of their library. So
Very interesting.
But I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Cool crime update.
So.
Well, in other news, we did want to tell you guys a little bit about our merchandise, which it is too late if you guys were looking to order stuff before Christmas, but we do still have t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, all of that available. And if you are a Patreon subscriber, you support the podcast directly and you get 15% off of all merchandise in the store.
Oh, yeah. And shout out to the few people who have subscribe to our Patreon already. We greatly appreciate the monthly support.
You guys are great.
Yeah, super awesome of you guys. Really appreciate that.
Really appreciate it.
And we're gonna be working to try and do more things for the people who do subscribe to our Patreon to make it a little bit more
adding a little
interesting.
bit more content. Yeah.
So we'll figure some stuff out over the next couple of weeks and whatnot. So stay tuned for that.
Let us know what you guys want too.
Yeah. So check it out. If you decide to support us, we would greatly appreciate that.
100%.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and get in today's case, which is going to be on Lavinia Fisher.
Who dat?
Who dat? Well, it's only people say it's the first woman serial killer in all of the United States.
Oh. Well, I've never heard of her, so.
Well. We did mention her before in a case.
We did. I'm really bad with names.
You tried to find her grave in downtown.
Yes, that lady. Okay, I know exactly who she is now. I don't actually know what she did, but I know who she is.
The one on the gallows talking about, if you have a word for anything to say to the devil, let me know.
Okay.
For I'll be seeing him soon.
I remember that.
Her.
I don't actually know what she did, but, you know.
It's a little complicated.
Tell me about it.
So this whole thing, kind of takes place in good old Charleston, South Carolina.
What?
That
843 represents.
So
cut that out.
Lavinia Fisher was born in 1793 and died on February 18th of 1820.
Oh, so, she was only what, 30?
About like 33.
No, 37. Sorry,
37. I'm bad at math too.
So she was only she was only 37.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
She is reported by some legends to have been the first female serial killer in the United States of America, but her origins are a little unknown. And Fisher resided in the United States for pretty much a majority of her life, and it being so far back, it's kind of hard to
records weren't
get records from that far back. She was married to somebody by the name of John Fisher, and both were convicted of highway robbery, a capital offense at the time, not murder.
Okay.
So this is where it gets a little weird.
All right.
So historians have begun to question the veracity of the traditional legend, and some assert that Lavinia Fisher never killed anyone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how do you go from she never killed anybody to she was the first serial killer in America, female serial killer?
We'll get to it. It's more like an alleged thing because they kind of had a reputation.
Okay.
Because they did own an inn in downtown Charleston.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They did own an inn back in the day.
Is that still standing?
No.
I was going to say we should go check it out.
I don't know what it is now, honestly. I think it's probably a restaurant at this point.
Probably. It's Charleston.
Right. Some, however, believe she would kill her victims by crushing their heads between her legs.
What?
Yeah, just like watermelon that.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah. So I just feel like it was kind of people kind of hyping it up, just gossip around town, just trying to say some weird stuff. But yeah, they that was her thing, apparently.
All right. Okay.
So she was, however, an active member of a large gang of highwaymen who operated out of two houses in the backcountry near Charleston, the 5 Mile House and the 6 Mile House.
Okay.
It is not clear whether the 6 Mile House was a hotel, but it did serve as a hideout for a number of outlaws. Which, back then, because, we had earlier than that, but, we had, Blackbeard come through.
Fun fact, you guys, Blackbeard used to live in Charleston, South Carolina.
Yeah.
We had pirates.
We sure did. And
which piracy was only a thing for 3 years though. So
that was when it started phasing out. Yeah, that's when it started phasing out, is kind of when the Americas started to build up.
Yeah.
But
get them pirates out of here. Anyway, sorry.
But another thing with that is, interestingly enough, besides the whole Blackbeard thing, so in downtown there's a school And remember they were doing like excavation. I think they were trying to build like a playground or something there.
Mm-mm.
And as they were digging, they found a live cannonball from the Civil War there.
Yeah.
And they had to like shut down, bring out the bomb squad and everything.
That's amazing. Yeah, I remember when that happened. I didn't know they were building like a playground or something, but
I think it was something to do
that
with
was
the
a couple
school.
years ago, wasn't it? It was like 2017, 2018 or something.
No,
like
it was
that.
further back than that.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
Were we in school?
It was relatively recent, but I think we were in school.
Yeah, I feel like
because that school's like really new.
I don't know.
So, but yeah, just a little fun fact right there that you know you
That's
eventually
crazy.
learn and living here for so long. Fisher and her husband resided in Charleston, South Carolina for most of their lives. Together, they owned a hotel, the 6 Mile Wayfarer House, which they managed in the early 19th century. The hotel was located 6 miles north of Charleston, South Carolina, hence the name. Pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Not very imaginative, but
no, it's 1800, so
I mean,
or whatever.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, they had a big pirate called Blackbeard, and he just had a black beard. After a short period, many reports were made to the local sheriff's department about guests disappearing. Due to lack of evidence and the popularity of the couple with many locals, these complaints came to nothing, of course.
Yeah.
Because it's
Money
a popularity
talks.
contest,
Yeah,
so.
money talks.
But her alleged crimes is apparently Lavinia Fisher would always invite men to dinner and ask many questions about their occupation, trying to find out if they had money or not.
Mm-hmm. So it's money talks,
It's always
man.
about money. You know, actually, when I was trying to find a case, I wanted to do a woman because we've done a lot of men recently. So I started going through like a bunch of like, you know, kind of not so known female killers. And a lot of them did it just for insurance money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, like back in the day, being a woman, even just having a job was like.
But I was surprised at how many women would just straight up murder their kids, like poison them just for insurance money.
It's one less mouth to feed.
I mean, yeah,
like
but
it's morbid, but it's one less mouth to feed. It's insurance money. You know, you got to do what you got to do.
Just craziness. Like, I think I literally went through like 6 or 7 people, and they all just like they really loved poison back then.
Yeah.
And it was always just them poisoning their husband, family, children, just to get insurance money.
That too is like autopsies aren't what they are today, so I can't really.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think they could detect poison, but not like today, as we'll find out in my case.
Oh snap! So be sure to check that out on Wednesday. She would send them up to their rooms with a cup of tea that was actually poison. Once the men would drink their tea and go to bed, her husband would go to the room to make sure they were dead by stabbing them.
What?
Just straight up, like out of the Lord of the Rings, just.
Lord. So what's the point? Okay, hold on. Whoa, wait a second. So was it poison or was it like sleeping pills? Because I feel like if you're gonna poison them, why would you stab them?
Well, it's just to make sure they actually died.
If you're gonna stab them anyway, just make sure they're sleeping. Just do it in their sleep. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know, man.
Good Lord, that's overkill. My God.
But like I said, that's just one version of what she did. It's not like a fact.
Well, she also crushed their heads with her thighs.
Yeah.
So I'm taking this with a grain of salt.
Another version of the legend was that the tea would only put the men to sleep for a few hours, as you were mentioning earlier. And then when they were almost asleep, Lavinia would pull a lever and the bed would collapse and drop the victim into a pit. And some believed that there were spikes waiting at the bottom of the pit.
Oh, I feel like that's messy.
Yeah. And
also out of a movie.
Yeah, straight up out of a movie.
I love that for them, but
yeah.
Fake.
Much of what actually occurred in the alleged murders at the hands of John and Lavinia Fisher has become wildly exaggerated through time.
I'm sure.
So factual details are really hard to find. However, contemporary news accounts in the Charleston Post and Courier claim that a vigilante gang went to the Fishers' neighborhood in February 1819 to stop the purported gang activities that were occurring there.
Okay.
Satisfied that they had accomplished their task, The group returned to Charleston, but left a young man by the name of David Ross to stand watch in the area.
Oh, no. No, David.
No, David.
What's going to happen to David?
Well, early the next day, Ross was attacked by 2 men and dragged before the gang that had terrorized the region. Among them was Lavinia Fisher, to whom he looked for help. However, rather than helping him, she choked him and then smashed his head through a window. But Ross managed to escape and immediately alerted authorities.
Yo, it was... They went hard back in the day.
Earth go hard.
Okay, so people are always like, I would go back in time to this year. It's like, we've progressed so much.
I think about as far back as I would go as like the golden era of like the 1950s. Like after World War II.
Maybe 1920s, maybe. But
before the Great Depression?
But yeah.
Like early 1920s?
Yeah. And then dip out as soon as I knew it's about to get real.
Right. It's like, I know what's coming. I'm out. That's when you like super invest in the stock market, like right before the Great Depression ends, and then just get filthy rich.
What are those things?
Bonds.
Is it a bond?
Bonds.
I don't know what it's called.
Anyways, immediately following this incident, another traveler named John Peoples.
Yeah, I think I know that name. Asked
if there were any vacancies. Lavinia replied that there was unfortunately no room, but he was welcome to come inside and rest and have some tea. John happened to hate tea, and not wanting to seem rude, he dumped it when she wasn't looking. She interrogated him for hours and eventually said she discovered that, in fact, they did have a room. He then went to bed. He had felt suspicious about the interrogation and was worried about being robbed.
I mean, fair.
So he decided to sleep in the wooden chair by the door. In the middle of the night, he awoke to the loud sound of the bed collapsing and discovered the Fishers' plan.
There's no way they had spikes. Come on.
He jumped out the window and rode to Charleston to alert the authorities.
Oh my. All right.
Based on these 2 accounts, the assailants were finally identified by name, something that law enforcement had previously lacked. Police were immediately dispatched to the location, and during the ensuing investigation, Lavinia and John were located, along with 2 other gang members. John Fisher surrendered the group in an effort to protect his wife and shield her from possible gunfire.
Okay.
Later during interrogation, he again attempted to protect Lavinia by giving the identities of all involved in the gang.
Dang.
Snitch, straight 6'9".
I was going to say.
So Lavinia Fisher was held at the Charleston, South Carolina jail before her hanging, which we need to go to. She had concocted a plan in her mind to make sure that she would not be executed. At the time in South Carolina, you could not execute a woman who was married.
Oh, yeah.
When Lavinia mentioned this at her trial, the judge told her that they would kill her husband first so that she would be widowed.
What a move. What a move.
Could you imagine thinking, you can't kill me, I'm married. And they're like, we'll just kill him first.
Then technically, yeah, oh my.
That's a straight power move.
That is a power move. You won't be married once we kill your husband. You'll be a widow.
Wildin'. So she made another plan and decided to be executed in a wedding dress.
Oh.
She was a woman.
That is...
Right?
That's so extra.
Hey.
So extra.
I mean, as we said with her last word, she's a very extra type of person.
Okay.
But she was a woman of legendary beauty and hoped that with a priest present, she could seduce a man into marrying her. When this failed to happen, and Lavinia realized that she was running out of time before the executioner could tighten the noose, she said to the crowd, the legendary saying, "If anyone has a message for the devil, give it to me. I'll deliver it." Or, there's 2 different type of things. If any of you have a message for the devil, tell me now, for I will be seeing him in a moment.
That's insane. Like, I both love her and I'm terrified of her.
But here's
also,
the thing.
She's a horrible person if she actually killed
people.
But
here's the thing. The executioner didn't have to drop her. She straight jumped off the gallows and essentially committed suicide.
Wow.
Rather than having someone execute her.
What?
What a boss. Like, I'm going to go out on my own terms.
Yeah, she took that into her own hands. I'd be... I'm terrified of this woman.
So legend says she was actually swinging on the noose, screaming and kicking, and stood alive for 15 minutes until she finally died.
That's a long time.
So that's the thing when you jump off. Because the thing about dropping is that's meant to snap your neck and kind of kill you instantly.
Yeah.
But, when you jump off like that, I'm sure it more or less just kind of...
Yeah, you literally hang
gripped
yourself.
her, so...
Yeah.
I feel like she kind of, it's like a boss move, but then you're sitting there just
now you're
suffering for
looking
15
like
minutes. So
yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that like they got rid of the whole hanging execution thing was it wasn't like humane, quote unquote humane. You know what I'm talking about? Like as humane as other methods, quote unquote. But
I mean, when you just straight up murder people, like who cares? In my opinion, an eye for an eye.
I don't know.
Debate.
I agree.
Much of what actually occurred in the alleged murders at the hands of John and Lavinia Fisher has become wildly exaggerated through time. So factual details are, hard to find, of course.
Yeah.
Like I said, people were saying, I'm just going to squeeze his head with my thighs and pop him. Like, come on now.
Who came up with that?
I don't know.
Probably the tourist community or the tourist business operations, whatever.
Maybe.
She smashed their head with her thighs. That's why we call her Lavinia Thunder Thighs Fisher.
Can we put that on a t-shirt? Lavinia Thunder Thighs Fisher.
We still need to do Mama Moo Moo.
So nearly a full year lapsed between the time of their arrest and their execution. At their arraignment, the Fishers pleaded not guilty, but they were ordered to be held in jail until their trial, which would take place in May while their co-conspirators were released on bail.
Ooh.
The jury at their trial rejected their pleas of innocence and found them guilty of highway robbery. However, the judge allowed an appeal, and they were given a reprieve until the January session of the court.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes.
So, during this time, the Fishers occupied themselves with plans to escape, as they were housed together in a 6x8 cell that was not heavily guarded.
Yeah. Okay.
On September 13th, they put their plans into action and began their escape. Things did not go as planned, as the rope they had made from prison linens broke, leaving Lavinia trapped in the cell and John set free.
Okay. Bye, John.
He was unwilling to continue the escape plan and was recaptured. So he stuck by her.
All right. Okay.
You get some credit for that.
Yeah, I respect that.
So after that, the two were then kept under much tighter security, obviously. The Constitutional Court rejected their appeal, and both were sentenced to be hanged on February 4th, 1820. And awaiting execution, John accepted the counsel of Reverend Richard Furman, a local minister, but Lavinia became even more vitriolic. Preceding their execution, the clergyman read a letter composed by John Fisher stating that since he had become a Christian, he could not be executed with a lie held to his account.
Oh, it still happens to this day.
Therefore,
I'm a born-again Christian. Don't sentence me to jail or life in prison or execution. Can't talk. Or execution. Like, get out of here.
So,
you know what you did.
Therefore, he insisted on his innocence and asked mercy on those who had done him wrong in the judicial process.
Okay.
After the minister read the letter, Fisher then began to plead his case before the gathered crowd of some 2,000.
Wow. Like back in the day, that's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
I guess if they're like super notable criminals, though, like.
Yeah.
People probably came from like all over the place.
I'm sure they probably came from, around the areas. He then seemingly contradicted himself by asking for their forgiveness, and Lavinia argued to the judge that they could not hang a married woman. So they hanged John a day before, so they could.
A widowed woman. So
it was believed that Mary Surratt was the first woman to be hanged in the United States. However, Lavinia was hanged 40 years prior.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
So here's another fact. So you know how I was saying I didn't know where her burial was?
Okay.
So following her execution, she was buried in a potter's field near to the place of execution, which was outside the Old City Jail.
Oh, okay.
Reports of her burial are at 150 Meeting Street, Circular Congregational Church, or at 4 Archdale Street, the Unitarian Church.
So either one.
So she's either in one of those two. Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's in an unmarked grave. So
yeah,
it's around one of those two areas.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to check both of them out and see.
Yeah. So, and that is the short case on Lavinia Fisher, honestly.
Very interesting. She led a wild life.
She did. She was crushed heads with her thunder thighs. Allegedly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to go check out her
you gotta try and find her grave and take some pictures and whatnot and put that on our Instagram, which you can find at What Sleep Podcast. So yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed this look into Lavinia Fisher, the, I guess, credited first woman serial killer
in the U.S.
in the United States.
Scary woman.
Yeah, very badass lady.
That's awesome.
Honestly, she took death like a champ up until the end. But, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you did enjoy this, be sure to check out our social medias. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook at What Sleep Podcast, and then you can find us on Twitter also at What Sleep Pod. We post on there twice a week right now, pretty much anytime. We also post pictures associated to the cases we do, so it's really cool to get some visual aid a lot of the time.
100%. We're probably looking to post a little bit more on our social medias, kind of get some engagement with you guys. I want to talk to you, your beautiful faces.
Yeah. So if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like and comment.
Come say hi.
Come say hi. Let us know what you think.
We always respond. We see everything.
Yeah, we see everything.
We're like omnipotent.
Yeah.
Buddies that tell you about really crazy crime.
Yeah, let us know what you guys think. If you have any sort of criticisms, things you would like to see from us, type of thing, you can actually send us an email. You can find that at whatsleeppodcast@gmail.com. We read every email, so
yeah,
be sure to do that.
And if you feel so inclined, please send us your stories, because, guys, I'm really trying to make this listener stories thing.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you.
So if you
I mean, like, you guys will just get an extra episode every, like, once a month. So
if you have any, ghost stories of yourself, you've seen the UFO, anything really, send that on over to us at our email.
whatsleeppodcast@gmail.com.
Exactly. All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.